Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. So I've got a little bit of a funny video here to do with you, and it's all about Guinness, right? So there's this whole thing about Guinness, and Happy St. Patrick's Day. I think I've just said that, but just in case I didn't, I've had like a bit of a cold, and it sort of bamboozled me a bit, and I don't know where I'm at with things. But anyway, so here we have the Guinness Nitro Surge Draft Can. So this has been videoed and showcased so many times, and I have had Steve Gilsonan, who is the inventor of the Guinness Nitro Surge Cap, tell me that I pour this correctly. But however, there's people keep saying to me on the instructions on here, you're not supposed to go over the horizontal on the first pour. I know, but Steve Gilsonan says to take it above, but you know, everybody who does this cap will get criticised for one thing or another. Anyway, it's not really about that, even though I'm going to pour 2 Guinnesses, not 4, 2 Guinnesses using the cap. But I want to talk about the can, right? So there's a big stigma around Guinness that it tastes better in Dublin than it does in the UK. Okay, well, let me just tell you, Guinness do not can these. At St James's Gate, they do not can any of these. The light's a little bit crazy here, right? These do not get canned at St James's Gate. So, these get canned at either Belfast or in the UK Runcorn. Anyway, they get canned, the Guinness goes out and it gets liquor adjusted at Belfast and at Runcorn, and the nitrogen gets added at them plants. It leaves Guinness, St James's Gate, in the truck, and it goes to Belfast and it goes to the UK, and at them plants they do all the liquor adjustment and they do all the canning and everything that goes with it. And Steve Gilsonan himself has told me that this does not taste any different, or it shouldn't taste any different, and he's the head of quality control. It shouldn't taste any different in the UK than it should in Ireland. So if you're in Ireland and you're in Dublin and you're pouring one of these cans with a Nitro Surge cap, and you're in the UK and you're pouring one of these cans with a Nitro Surge cap, shouldn't taste any different. What makes it different? What makes it different? I'm going to tell you what makes it different. The way that it goes into the glass, not from the pour, not from anything like that, which does make a difference. But what I mean is the way it goes into the glass in pubs. So in Dublin, Guinness is the freshest it can be, can't it, right? So it goes from St James's Gate. It doesn't necessarily get kegged there neither, although they do some kegging there. And it gets kegged here in the UK for us as well at Runcorn. They do all the kegging, the canning, the bottling and everything else. Guinness don't even do any bottling of the beers at St James's Gate. So it all gets outsourced, right? Okay. Now, someone might tell me different, but yes, Dublin, St James's Gate, they do some kegging there. Please tell me if you think you know any different, but do not Google search it because it doesn't always give you the right answer. Now, here's the thing, right? In the UK, there are places that the Guinnessers have gone to, and they've said this is the best pint of Guinness outside of Dublin. There's a pub in Manchester. There's also a pub in London. Now, how can I explain this? Guinness needs to be perfectly looked after. So you need to have the cleanest lines. You need to have everything, the tap, the pressure, the way it's served. Everything has to be absolutely perfect. The other thing here in the UK that has to be done as well as in Dublin is you've got to pour the Guinness correctly. A Guinness should take around about 3 minutes to get sorted. Now, I've worked in Dublin, I've worked in Maynooth in Ireland, and I've had Guinness there, and I've had Guinness over here in the UK. And honestly, I don't think it's no better in Dublin than it is in the UK if you go to a proper place that serves it really well in the UK. I went to Ireland and I thought to myself, I'm going to get the best pint of Guinness ever in the world here. And I drank it and I thought, well, do you know what? It don't taste no different to what I've had in the pubs I know serve a fantastic pint of Guinness. So in Syston in Leicester, there's a snooker club and they serve a fantastic pint of Guinness. Here, round the corner from me, there's a curry house, and they serve a fantastic pint of Guinness. Okay, then we've got Duffy's Bar in Leicester, an Irish bar, serve a great pint of Guinness. And why? Why do these places do it? I asked them, how do you do it? He said, cleanliness. The glasses have got to be properly clean, regenerated. The lines have got to be perfect. The Guinness has got to be drank fresh. Now, when people say the Guinness in the UK isn't as fresh as in Dublin, it probably isn't. If you have a Guinness keg in a pub and people are drinking mostly craft beer, hand-pulled beers, and then the odd Guinness, but if there's a pub turning over the Guinness all the while and getting through a barrel dead quick, super fresh. I went to a place in town called the Market Tavern. It's a really good community pub, and years ago it had a bit of a bad reputation, but it's a lovely family community pub. You will have a guy in there who's a bit drunk or whatever. You will have an odd bloke like me sat in the corner if I go out on my own in the day or whatever, but they serve a fantastic pint of Guinness. And I asked the landlady yesterday, why is your Guinness so good? She said cleanliness and turnover. So we turn over loads of Guinness. It's a really popular drink in here. The snooker club, loads and loads of Guinness. My curry house round the corner, loads of Guinness. They actually had Guinness in. They rang Guinness up and said, we're not sure, our Guinness ain't quite right. They got somebody from Guinness to come down. I don't know where they were. There must have been somewhere in the UK that come and sorted it. And they said they sorted our taps out. They said our cleanliness was good, but they told us about regenerating the glass and about how to really clean the pipes, how to get the shortest length of direction from the keg to the tap to get all the pressure right and everything. And I promise you faithfully, the Guinness I have in my local Indian restaurant is absolutely banging. It's fantastic. I've put it on, not every time. I mean, don't get me wrong, they'll give me a pint that's a bit short, or they'll give me a pint that's whatever, but 90% of the time it's absolutely fantastic. Now, so the thing is, I'm going to demonstrate how you can ruin Guinness. So I went to probably about 6 different pubs, I think, yesterday. And this video is going to be a bit of a long video, but I'm going to do a sample of the Guinness in all the pubs. One of them being Katie O'Brien's. I've got Duffy's Bar. I went to O'Neill's. I went to the Witherspoons, which are doing Guinness for like £3.15 at the minute on a Monday night. And I thought, I'm going to go to Witherspoons because they've got their craft beer festival on. So the Guinness is not going to be flowing quite as well because, you know, that everybody's going to be trying all these different beers. But I was quite impressed by it, actually. And I could have a noticeable difference between the taste of the Guinness between each sort of venue. But overall, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. But basically, what I'm trying to waffle on about and what I'm trying to say to you is if here in the UK, Guinness are not going to have Guinness come to a UK pub and they're going to go, do you know what? Well, you know, it's not going to be as good as over in Dublin, isn't it? The quality control of that Guinness leaving St James's Gate is going to go in them trucks to these plants to be put in cans and bottles and kegs and things and to be served, and it ain't going to be no different anywhere. Just because it's probably took a couple of hours more to get to the UK than it has to from Belfast into the pubs or from Dublin into the pubs, it ain't going to taste that much different. What is the difference is, in Ireland, what I noticed when I went into a pub in there, they'd poured 4 or 5 pints of Guinness and they were there, settling. Really settling. So when they do their second pour, which has not got any nitro surge in it, and it does the secondary surge sort of naturally, you're getting the most perfectly poured pint. And they are going to be really turning over a lot of it because it's one of the most drunk drinks in Ireland. So here in the UK, with the pubs turning it over fast and furious, it's going to be fresh, it's going to be lovely. If the glasses are clean, it's going to be banging. Now, I've seen loads and loads of people here on here on YouTube and Instagram pour pints of Guinness with them horrible nucleation points inside the glass. A pint of Guinness, look at that, it's beautiful. No, it's not. I've got quite passionate about this. No, it is not. It is not a good pint of Guinness. It's got contaminants in the glass, which are going to ruin the Guinness. It's going to take away the Guinness. So what I have done, and I've already done this, but I've got to do it again because the results weren't like I wanted it to. So this is my Guinness glass that should be clean for a good pint of Guinness. And this is my Guinness glass which isn't clean. And I'm not going to hold it up to the thing because I've really gone to town to make this not clean. So basically, I did this. I kid you not, right? I got this Guinness glass, and I'm going to tell you what I did to it. I literally got hand soap and I rubbed it all inside the glass, swilled it out. Then I got my I put what did I put? Hand cream on my hands, and I touched all inside the glass. I was going all inside. I'm doing it now, look, all inside. What you shouldn't do. People pick glasses up like this. Sacrilege doing that. You're putting your oily skin inside there. I did all that to this glass. What else did I do? I got the pots where I wash all the greasy pans with the pots, and I washed this in the greasy water. And when I drank this, it still gave me lacing, even though it gave a few nucleation points on the side. I thought, oh my God, I'm really trying to showcase how Guinness can be ruined by a dirty glass. And the glass still sort of lived up to, it weren't that bad. And it must be because of the regenerate that I do. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to pour a pint of Guinness in my lovely glass. I'm going to show you how a pint of Guinness should be, how it should look. And then I'm going to pour another one in my not so clean glass and just show you how awfully it can be ruined and whatever. Now these cans, both of these cans have come to the UK. The Guinness inside these cans is the same Guinness that goes in the cans in Dublin, right? It leaves St James's Gate, it goes to Belfast and it goes to Runcorn, and it gets liquor adjusted, which is basically, so the Guinness goes out at its full strength, okay? I think it's about 7.2. Goes out as its full strength. Gets liquor adjusted at these plants, and it gets the nitrogen added there and canned. It's no different here in the UK than it is in Dublin. And Steve Gilsonan, the head of quality control, says there's a rumour that the cans taste different in the UK than they do in Dublin. He said it isn't true. That's from the head of quality control of Guinness. So trust me, right? This is a passionate video here. Right, so I know there's going to be somebody watching this and they're going to criticise me for pouring this. Every time I pour this, oh, excuse me, I've had this cold. Every time I pour this, I'll get criticised. And you know what? I really don't care, because I know that I pour this correctly. And I know that holding it at horizontal, like it says on the can, sometimes you can, the levels can drop and you can get a glug and it will glug into the glass. But for the sake of everybody, I'm going to do it horizontally in the glass at 45 degrees. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this on. I don't mean like turn it on. I'm going to turn this on just before you pour, because if you go like, oh, this is great, blah blah blah, turn it on, brilliant, look at that, do the can, get it on the can, lovely. 5 or 6 or 7 seconds gone. There's not enough time to do the first pour. Okay, so it's important that you let these cans settle for 24 hours. You put the cap on the can. And then just before you do the pour, you turn it on. A good tip is to hold it in the pouring stance and press it just before the pour. That way you're guaranteed to surge all the way up to the hop. I'm going to try my best to hold this horizontally in the glass 45 degrees, but I might go a little bit over because it's what I'm used to. Cheers everybody, let's go. So glass 45 degrees. The penguin is horizontal. There it is surging. But I guarantee that everybody's now thinking, Speno, finally you've done it right. But trust me, Steve Gilsonan says to hold it above the horizontal. But I'm doing it for YouTube. I'm doing it for all of you people there who are telling me I'm doing it wrong. So we're going to bring it up to steadily up to the harp. Yes, it's sort of worked. There's no glug so far, so I'm pleased with that. Lovely job. We are up to the harp. The light's still on, look, so plenty of time. It should just go off any second. There you go. So literally, you literally only get about 3 seconds worth of timer left when you're doing the first pour. Settling nice. None of that horrible, crappy, rubbishy nucleation points on the side of the glass. I hate that. I'm going to leave that to settle for a long time, that it's needed over a minute, and I'll come back to you when it's settled for the second pour. Right, so now we're ready for the second pour. Glass stays vertical. This goes above the horizontal. Okay, let's get it done. Now, if you got this right, this should not overflow. So I'm going to keep this going until it stops pouring, and it shouldn't overflow. And oh my word, that is absolutely lovely, everybody. So there's the penguin. He's done his job, bless him. I'll just take that off. Now, normally I would say rinse that out in between pints, but I'm going to literally be doing that quicker than Satan can make a fire. So anyway, Actually, I will go and rinse that out because otherwise I might be criticised on that. So look, there we go. It is above the glass. It's still settling. I'll pause this, rinse out the cap, and I'll come back when it's settled. Right, so just getting back to what I've said, I've got the actual message from Steve here. It says, we keg, can and bottle for the UK market in Runcorn. All is brewed in Dublin. So he's also said here, so all the beer is brewed and adjusted to target ABV in those plants, right, okay? And he's also put, I have seen people say that Irish Nitro Surge is better as it's produced in Dublin. That's not true. All is brewed in Dublin and can be canned in either Belfast or Runcorn. So Steve Gilsonan from the head of quality control at Guinness has said that the Nitro Surge can in Dublin is no difference to here. So if you was to have this in Dublin, it would taste no different to in the UK. What makes it different is your cleanliness of the glass, the freshness of this can. If you kept this for over a year, it's not going to be as good as if it's how fresh it is. Anyway, here we are. Just get some condensation on. I can see how beautiful this is. This is a Spencer Arms Guinness. Look at that bad boy, right? I am so passionate about it. I am. This is a long, epic St. Patrick's Day Guinness special, passionate Speno at the Spencer Arms, loving his Guinness, okay? I know people don't love Guinness. I love Guinness. I think it's brilliant. I think the branding's great. I think the look of it, the pour, the experience. Look at that, right? It's over, a nice dome, lovely tilt. Look at that. Now, I've been to pubs in town, Irish pubs in town, and I think that you can't argue how brilliant that is. And I think I'll probably get more shtick than in the town. So let's have a big gulp of this, see what we get. Cheers. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Oh, that, my friend's beautiful. Now, you can always tell when you now watch this video. It's probably going to be an hour long, but watch this video because I mention about the difference in the flavours of the Guinness. On the first sip of Guinness, you get that creamy, sweet, silky, lovely taste of Guinness. And then as you sit there and let it linger, you start to get the roastiness, but always that silky creaminess is always coating your mouth. And then you get that wonderful dryness that you get with Guinness. You get a lovely dryness on the back, which makes you go for more. And this is why it's such a smashable drink. It's one of those, the first pint in Guinness you have is like, oh, whenever I go to the cuisine of India, they actually say to me, I don't even have to order my drink now. It's already ready. So if we've booked a table, by the time we go there, they've already poured my Guinness and letting it settle on the first pour. And then they do it and they tell me they've got them. They start lining them up. So when they see me get down to here, they've poured it and it's sat there ready for me to go next one. And then they top it up. So if you pour it quick in one pour, and especially if you pour it all the way Nitro Surge, and some people in the pubs, they pour it short and then they do the secondary surge, which is not a surge, but you get a secondary surge from the pour. From there, it's just no good. It has to be right. Cheers. There's the second sip line. You want a good pint of Guinness? Spencer Arms is guaranteed to give you a good pint of Guinness. Glasses get regenerated every time now. I've even I've tried a new experiment where every single time I've finished a beer, I now go and rinse the glass out and I put a little tiny bit of regeneration powder in, fill it with hot water, leave it on the side for half an hour. I've got my sanitised bottle brush. I wash it out, rinse it thoroughly, dry the glass thoroughly, and it's ready to go. So the glass is getting to regenerate every single time now. I've actually ditched the salt. So yeah, there's the next sip. You know, I know, I'm passionate about it. And people say if you drink a Guinness fast, you'll always get a good shtick. But everybody does that first gulp to there. Now, as you watch this video, you will see, I'm going to probably shorten the videos in the pubs. You will see Some of the pubs don't give this, but I'll be honest with you, every pub I went in was pretty decent. They must have been on their game for the Guinness. But even in Witherspoons, I was surprised how good the Guinness was. And I would imagine at the minute, with Witherspoons doing, oh, so beautiful, Witherspoons doing £3.15 a pint over St Patrick's weekend, and also on the Monday Club they're doing it. But regularly it's £3.60. I didn't even realise that. So it's a drink that's a cheap drink in Witherspoons. They're probably going to shift a lot of it. But again, are they going to bring it into the glass? It's not about the Guinness. It's about how you get it in this glass. That, my friends, was fucking awesome. Look at the state of that glass. Tell me, please tell me. Go on, criticise me if you can. Criticise my pour, criticise the Guinness, criticise the glass. Go on, I'm ready for you. Let's have some banter. If you think I've not poured that perfectly, if you think this glass isn't perfect, if you don't think that from a pub shed here in Leicester, that is a brilliant pint of Guinness with some amazing shtick over St Patrick's weekend, then you tell me. And I'll come back with what I think, and we'll have a laugh. And trust me, I don't take anything to offence. Just be kind, be nice. I'm always here. Now, what I'm going to do is, and I can't even believe I'm going to do this, I'm going to get this horrible, dirty, not looked after, washed in the sink, dried with the tea towel glass. If this doesn't give me bad results, well, I don't know. But I can't believe I'm going to sacrifice a Guinness to do this. So I've washed the cap out. I'm going to pour it the same way, and hopefully I'm going to let you see what happens when the glass is dirty. Now, this is only the glass being dirty. Now, when I say it's dirty, it's clean, but it's contaminated dirty. Contaminants you don't really see. Microscopic, greasy marks. I've handed the glass. I've gone like, oh, I've got a Guinness glass. Here it is. And so I'm going to pour it the same way. The cap's been rinsed. So we'll pour it the same way. Let's get going. Now, the dirty glass is one thing. But what happens if your lines are dirty? What happens if the pressure isn't right? What happens if the Guinness keg has been in the pub for, I don't know, well, much longer than it should have been? Now, straight away I can see it. Straight away I can see it on this glass, so I'm pleased. Right, first pour up to the harp. And now we're presented, yes, now we are presenting. So anybody that's fast forwarded to this, I've purposely made this glass shocking. Now, I've seen people on Instagram and on YouTube go, oh, Guinness, wonderful. And I'm like, look at the glass, look at the glass. I could almost see the head struggling. It's still creamy, but I could almost see it struggling. So let's leave that to settle, and then we'll come back. So here we are, we're settled. Look, how often do you see that? I mean, this is over-exaggerated a little bit, but I'm glad it's done. Looks awful. If you're presented with a Guinness like that in a pub, I suggest you say to them, excuse me, I think you can have that back, please. Because you would not quite see this so much in an IPA or a pale ale or something like that. But with Guinness, you really see it. Because of the black colour of Guinness, you really do see that contaminants in the head. Now, the thing is as well, now I don't know whether the actual contaminants now that's in that glass has caused this to overflow a bit, because basically it doesn't normally overflow. It's perfectly produced to fill a pint glass, whereas this has actually overflowed now, which is sort of ruining my glass. Look how the head has gone smaller. Now, how am I going to get any tilt on that? Because it just wants to fall out of the glass, because the head is sort of like almost curdled a little bit, if you get me, because of how terrible the glass is. So it's sort of having a reaction. I need to get something to wipe this clean. So it just looks terrible, doesn't it? You know, it looks awful. And how many times do you see this? The head just looks broken down. It looks it just looks more curdled, if you know what I mean. Yes, okay, I can get a tilt, but it's a bit thinner. It seems thinner. From my perspective, it doesn't look as good. Now, the last time I did this with a dirty glass, I still got the shtick, and I don't know how I did it, because I really wanted to not have the shtick, but I did have the shtick. So let's launch this and see how we go. Cheers, everybody. So again, I can't believe it. I can't believe I've still got the shtick on this glass. This is a regenerated glass. But then I have washed this glass to sort of like destroy it a bit. Now, even though I've got all that horrible contaminants, I've still got the shtick. I can't believe it. I really wanted to read. But you know what? The shtick looks just a little bit different. It looks a bit milky compared to creamy, if you know what I mean. It looks... The head is a bit more tanned, so it's almost like it's not quite as white a head. It's definitely affected, and the taste is definitely affected. It doesn't taste as smooth and silky and sweet up front as it normally does. It's definitely lost some body. The creaminess, the mouthfeel is definitely different. You've still got the Guinness flavours there. And remarkably, I've still got some shtick. I can't believe it. But the Guinness is definitely affected by this terrible, dirty, horrible, dirty glass, which is a clean glass, but it's just been washed using the same stuff that I washed, say, a pan with, or a saucepan or something like that in the bowl. So it's affected, but it definitely looks, the head definitely looks milky rather than creamy. And it's just not as good an experience. And it just doesn't taste as good. I'm not getting as much as the roastiness. The dryness is still there. The sweetness is what suffers. The sweet, silky, smooth mouthfeel is what really, really suffers. And I think if you was to do it on a blind test, you may struggle on a blind test to sort of like really get... Because it's only subtle, but it's important how subtle it is, but it's the presentation as well. So if you get a keg of Guinness or a can of Guinness, and it goes from that keg, can, whatever, into the glass, it's from the keg, the can, the bottle, whatever, the journey to the customer is the most important part, because the Guinness itself is bang on. Right, anyway, this is nearly a half-hour video, and now I'm going to go into my little tour around the Leicester pubs and show you some different examples of Guinness in a few different pubs, 3 of them being Irish bars. So, yeah, follow me on the journey. It's a long video, but, you know, come and enjoy it. Cheers, everybody, for watching, and please put your comments in the comments box, and yeah, just keep it kind. Don't be like, that's the worst video I've ever seen, because I'll just think, oh dear, well, don't watch it then. But if you put like, Speno, I agree with you on that, or I disagree with you on that, I like that. I like a discussion. I like to have a discussion. And if you put a negative comment, well, not so much a negative, I will comment back to you and let's talk about it. You know what I mean? I'm here to learn as much as to educate, if you know what I mean. But let me just tell you one thing. There's a lot about Guinness that I know that Google doesn't. So trust me on whatever you say. And if you've got any questions as well, ask me, and I will ask my friend Steve Gilson at Guinness HQ, and he will give me the answer. Okay? So, and he's given me permission to tag him and everything. So he's the man. He hates the rumours. He doesn't like the rumours and the sort of like the people who badmouth it without knowing the information. So, yeah, let's keep Guinness real. Let's keep the facts real. And, yeah, let's keep Guinness sort of going. Although Murphy's is coming out at the minute, and I really do like a Murphy's. So, yeah, I'm a Guinnesser, and I'll always will be. But, yeah, right. Hang on in there, and please continue watching. Cheers. So, I've been going to Tesco's all week to try and find Murphy's. And since Wednesday, No, well, Thursday morning, I've just had this like real sort of run down, sort of cold, and I'm supposed to be meeting a lot of friends in town today, and I decided, you know, Jenny's not well neither. I decided to go for a walk into town. So I've done about 4.5 miles now, and I'm going to, even though probably it's not going to do me much good, I'm going to pop into Katie O'Brien's and have a Murphy's. It is. I've got some balloons outside. I hope it's open. It doesn't actually look open. Well, here it is. I was really looking forward to spending some time. There are going to be quite a few of us today, but it's sort of I voluntarily cancelled it. I don't want to give this to anybody, but I still want to document some sort of like St Patrick's stuff the weekend. So I hope they're open. They don't look like they're open, to be honest with you. If they're not, I'm going to have to go somewhere else. They are actually open. So I'm finally going to get my pint of Murphy's. There it is, settling nice. So yeah, feeling a bit under the weather and I wasn't going to come out, but I really wanted a Murphy's, and here it is. Looking good. What's a good pint here in Katie O'Brien's. Very disappointed. I'm supposed to be meeting a lot of people today. But yeah, so just me, myself and I, but I still want to bring some St Patrick stuff, so cheers everybody. That's lovely. I've had this in the tap and barrel all day, had it for a while. It's a real robust sort of stout. It's a lot more chocolatey than Guinness. It's not one that I'm going to say is better than Guinness, it's just different. For me, sharper on the tongue. A bit more of a sharp bitterness. My taste buds are a little bit probably off the wall because it's cold. But yeah, a lot more chocolatey. A bit more bitter roasty. A lot of people say it's a bit more creamy, but I think this is a bit more robust, less creamy. Oh, but it is definitely like a good old traditional Irish stout. I used to drink this years ago when I used to go to Newquay, funnily enough. Me, myself and I having a little reset, listening to early radio on my travels, and just having a bit of fun. Cheers. So, in an official Irish bar, on the weekend of St Patrick's Day, which is Monday, but it's the obviously the weekend, so big celebrations, and in Katie O'Brien's I'm expecting to have the best pint of Guinness that they can possibly serve me. Now the first thing that strikes me about this is it looks really good, right? So it looks great, the glass is clean. There's no, the amount of people that I see showcase Guinness in pubs with the glass looking absolutely terrible is just ridiculous. Now, she poured this a lot faster than the Murphy's, to be fair, and, oh, sorry for the wobble, and there's no real, it's not gone above the glass, but you know, even so, they've probably got a lot of Guinness that they're going to go through tonight, so they're probably just going to leave it a little bit short. Domage wise, yeah, brilliant, really. I mean, you can't really see it too much because I'm got the camera in a weird place. Let me just pull it up a little bit more. So domage wise, well, when I say domage, there's no real dome, but like the actual, you know, the cream is good. It falls over quite well. But the thing is, you know what I'm like when it comes to my glass cleanliness and that, and Guinness, it's all about glass cleanliness, and within this video I am going to show you what I mean about that and why Guinness gets ruined. Anyway, let's launch this and see if we get some stick down here. Cheers everybody, this is coming from really run down Speno, but I wanted to still bring you something to the channel. I'm taking one for the team here, cheers. That's nice. Good steak. Good steak. I'm proud of the Spencer arms because I sometimes get better steak than that. You know, if I have my glass and I drink in it and it's a bit like that, I feel like, oh, I've let myself down. But No, this is a proper official Irish bar. That's nice, yeah, it's nice. It's got that. I mean, people say Murphy's is better than Guinness, but I just think they're two different beers. I won't say one's better than the other because I've not had the Murphy's and then had this and thought, oh, this is bland. This is really nice. Still nice and roasty, but you get that sweetness up front with this. You don't get so much of a tingly tongue sort of mouthfeel, not so much roastiness, but you get the dryness with the Guinness, which I really, really like. You don't really get that with the Murphy's. The Murphy's, you get like a real brush of like tingle, a real sort of like someone sweeping your tongue with a toothbrush type of thing. Whereas with the Guinness, you get more of a sweetness up front, and then that goes all the way to a dryness, and I really love that about Guinness. I love the dryness that it leaves you, and it makes you then want to drink more, which then is sweet up front. This isn't as chocolatey as Murphy's, but yeah, this is a good pint of Guinness in Kate O'Brien's. Top notch, really good. Goes down a lot quicker than what the Murphy's does, because like the Murphy's is a bit more robust. But yeah, I've just really got that silky creaminess on this pint. You can see every sip, look, you can see the sip, glass is good, the appearance was good. Just could have done with just a little bit more in the glass, but apart from that, a thumbs up to Kate O'Brien's. Brilliant, lovely bar. It looks fantastic in here. It just looks nice. It looks like a really nice, like, you know that later on it's going to be a great atmosphere in here, and I'm really, really gutted that I'm not going to be able to appreciate it with all my friends today, even though I feel selfish that I'm here on my own. But I ain't got to socialise with anybody, so I can just chill out and be a bit of a miserable boy, full of cold, and yeah. But anyway, I'll see you. I'm going to go around a couple of Irish pubs today. So here I am in the corner of a very, very busy pub. Now, I've been in Leicester all my life, and one of the pubs in Leicester that gets like a bit of a bad reputation is this one. I think it's called the Market Tavern. But you know what, right? It's the most friendliest place you could ever imagine. So what you'll get is you get people coming here watching football and you know they'll be and everything else away. But you know what? This is, for me, if you want to come in town in Leicester and you want to come into a place that's friendly, welcoming, it's warm in here, it's lovely. There's children in here, there's families, there's an old boy sat in the corner, me. There's people chilling out in here. But the one thing, me and my son-in-law went out for a day out in town, and we said we're going to go one pint in every pub, no breaking the rules. But when we come in here, I was on Guinness all day long, and when we came in here, I broke the rule because the Guinness was so good. I had 2 pints. Now I've just been to Kate O'Brien's and I paid, I can't quite remember, about £5.50 for a pint of Guinness. Just come in here and it's £4.50 for a pint of Guinness, but she said they're doing 3 for £12, so that's £4 a pint for Guinness. And I said, your Guinness, I remember, is so good. She said, we turn it around all the time. We go through loads of Guinness and they look after their lines and everything. So let me show you this, right? So here we have it. Beautiful, absolutely lovely temperature, completely black. In fact, you can see the ruby redness in there as well. But this looks, now, oh, I've just spilt that by mistake. I shouldn't have done that. So, when this was poured, this did have, until I spilt it, this was above the glass. Good domage, good, it was above the glass height. It was an overfilled pint, proper dome. Now, I remember in here, and it was really, really good, really, really good. I'm sorry, I've just spoiled that. Look at that, that does look even more blacker than Kate O'Brien's. Right, let's launch it and see what it's like. Cheers. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, this is a non-Irish pub. This is a pub in the middle of Leicester. If you're a proper Leicester boy, you know this pub. Test to the lady who's run this pub for years. Oh, it's lovely and warm in here. She says you always get a warm welcome in here. Oh, this pint of Guinness is absolutely wonderful. The stick is right from the very top. Look at that. That's sweet, creamy, dry, beautiful. In fact, on this table here where I've come right in the corner, there's all these, look, Guinness time. So I'm apologising to the pub because I've spilled your overfilled pint that you gave me. But 3 pints for 12 quid? It's £4 a pint. Absolutely fantastic. But yeah, the landlady, she says that we turn over Guinness lots and lots and lots and lots. And this is the reason why you're getting a fresh pint of Guinness. The clean glass is imperative. So, very pleasing. The Market Tavern in Leicester, bang on. It feels nice in here. It just feels nice. You know, take notice of what anybody says. It's a great pub. It's a great pub. So, guys, if you come to Leicester, please check out this place. It's fabulous. It's a lovely place. The Market Tavern. Right, seriously, one of the most friendliest, family, sort of like atmospheric pub you'll get. Brilliant, really good. Right, so guys and girls, we are now off to O'Neill's, another Irish bar in Leicester. We'll see how the Guinness is there and what sort of like price we've got. Crikey, like there's a lot going on here. Look at this big owl here. There is a big owl, just plonked. It's probably part of the Light Up Leicester, so I would imagine as night falls, this will light up. But yeah, I've got to admit, that was quite funny. Somebody just tripped up the anti-trip thing there. So yeah, I've got to admit, I'm struggling, but I'm taking it for the team. I'm enjoying the beer, but my body's saying, go home, go bed, sleep, go sleep. But no, it's St Patrick's weekend and I love the Irish. I've got Irish blood. Well, I have got a little bit of Irish blood running through me. My granddad was Irish. My father-in-law, my ex-father-in-law was Irish. So yeah, the Irish folk mean a lot to me. And now I've got a lot of Scottish folk in my life as well, which mean a lot to me. So yeah, it's brilliant, you know. So here we are at O'Neill's and see what their Guinness is like. Cheers. So trying to find a corner on your own in O'Neill's is a bit difficult to me because Ireland are playing, the rugby's on, everybody's going crazy. But the beer is definitely helping me chill out. So we've got a Guinness. Now, it amazes me how Guinness varies in prices. This was $5.50 in here. I'll have to like check on my bank app to actually put the actual prices up, but it varies in prices. It's really weird, isn't it? It's like I've been to the Market Tavern and they'll do it for £4.50, whereas here it's £5.50 or £60 a pound or more. Is it because it's an Irish pub? So here it is. It does look good. I don't think the glass has got like a different. It's not nucleation points in the glass. There's something there on the glass, but it looks good in here. It's definitely slightly above the glass. The tilt is good. The tilt's good.
Some of the best in the business,
yeah, the tilt is good. This is looking good. This is looking good. See how we go. Cheers, everybody.
I'd say he'd be the best. Certainly top couple in the world. And one of the things he does best is almost nothing to do with the laws. It's this. It's chipping people along. Come on, boys. Hurry up. So part of I think there isn't quite as much frustration around this club as people seem to automatically assume there is. I think people realise it's
Guinness does taste different in different pubs. That's a great stick, Niels, really
the
good.
opinion, as am I, that the setup doesn't need to take anywhere as long.
I hope you can hear me. If you can't, I'll probably do the voice over. That is not as sweet as the Guinness I've just had. Guinness always has that sweetness up front. This is like a little bit more of a robusty type Guinness, a bit more dry, roasty. Very nice, very nice. It's a fussy, I've found over the years Guinness is a very, very fussy beer. It's very fussy. I've got to admit, it really is a fussy beer. It requires perfection. But I've got to say, that's good, Niels. Good stick.
Would that have been an easier run-in? But the skill.
How it crushes up there, clean glass.
Speno there is fantastic.
The glass is clean.
The delayed pass from Brett.
The delivery was good. I had to wait for it to come. You can see where I've sipped a few sips. All good, Niels and Leicester, all good.
I know there are various sets of luminaries playing in the midfield for other teams in the Six Nations, but these two, Menoncello and Brett, have got to be up there for the midfield.
So the cathedral bells are ringing and there's no sun, but I've got sunglasses on because my eyes look like just piss holes in the snow. So I am going now to see what Witherspoons can do with the Guinness. So this is on the weekend where it's the final weekend of the Witherspoons Beer Festival. So Untapped has been a little bit taken out. I don't do Untapped, but I know with Airland Radio, with the top 10 beers on Untapped within 100 kilometres of Airland Radio. Witherspoons Beer Festival has been thriving, and to be fair to Witherspoons, they get some great beers on, and they really, really do sort of like have a good range of beers. But I think Guinness will suffer whilst the beer festival is on. So I'm going to go and see what a pint of Guinness is like in Witherspoons when it's probably going to suffer because everybody's ordering cask beer and not really bothering with Guinness. So let's see what that brings. So one of the hardest things to do in a Witherspoons pub is find a quiet corner to talk about the beer. So on the Guinness journey, I'm like sat in this corner. People are looking at me gone out thinking what I'm doing, but I don't care, I'm here for the journey. This pint of Guinness in Witherspoons is £3.74. So they've got a beer festival on at the minute, so they're concentrating. They must have about 7 or 8 cask ales on there for the beer festival. So that's really what they're concentrating about. This is very cold, so it keeps condensating, but it looks very black. There's no nucleation points. Honestly, it's so far above the glass, it's unbelievable. Let me show you. So it is above the glass. The domage is very lovely. The tilt is very good. Very good. I'm quite surprised by how creamy that looks, to be quite honest with you. I can see through the light, the ruby redness. The head, I just want to show you this. The head is very, very smooth. Very bubble free. There's no bubbles out. I think the days of doing a shamrock is over. She actually says to me, she poured it just below the harp, and she says, I just need for you to wait for that to settle. That's fine. So in a really crazily busy pub, Witherspoons pub, she made me wait for the second pour, which is fabulous. I think that's quite good. So yeah, this looks a great pint. I've got to admit, I'm not going to pull any punches here. It looks a brilliant pint, Guinness. It looks very clean. The glass looks clean. Let's see what the stick is like. What can I say? Looks good. I can't believe how different Guinness tastes in various pubs. So the Guinness that I've had in the Market Tavern does taste better than that. It really does. That tastes good, don't get me wrong, but yeah, there is a significant difference in taste. That's a good pint of Guinness. The roastiness is coming through. I'm not getting that sweetness on the front though, that's the thing. What I like about Guinness is you get a really nice sweet hit right on the first taste. Then all the others, sort of like the roastiness and the dryness come through. This is quite dry. This is almost like lending itself to tasting like the bottled Guinness. A lot of the dryness, a lot of the roastiness here. So, you know, it is what it is. But like, I think, yeah, £3.74. So my Guinness journey today took me from best part of £6 all the way backwards to £3.74. That's crazy, isn't it, when you think about it? So how come like Witherspoons can do this beer for £3.74 and yet at Katie O'Brien's it's nearly £6? But I've got to admit, the reason they can do that is because although these poured it really well, they let it settle, they didn't rush it, the glass seems clean, it's a good looking pint, it's got some good stick. It does taste a bit more earthy, a bit more dry, but then that is part of the Guinness experience. But the only thing I'm not getting with this is the sweet, creamy start. Everything about the Guinness is perfect. It's just very dry and roasty. There's not that lovely creamy sweetness up front, finishing with a dry and roast. It's like straight into that. But I can't fault it too much. It still tastes great. It still looks good. At least it ain't got that horrible nucleation shit that I hate to see. So yeah, the last pint of Guinness that I'm going to have today will be at the Spencer Arms, I think, because I've probably got to go to Duffy's Bar first. The Duffy's Bar first, and I think I'll catch the bus home and go bed. I might have to go down to Spencer Arms and just have that last pint down there. Right, cheers everybody. Thank you for following me today. It's been a bit of a Spenowaffle and also a bit of a feeling run down and need a bit of a chill out time. Everybody's here with couples and families and that. I'm just here all by myself and looking very sad. Cheers. So everybody, Leicester is not going to excite your taste buds massively with the craft beer scene, I must admit. We have got some craft bars here, and we've got the two-tailed lions and we've got the Blue Ball. But when it comes to Guinness, there's a few Irish bars around here, and one of the best Irish bars in Leicester that has fantastic grassroots sort of music has to be Duffy's Bar. And this is going to be the last pint of the day, unless I have one when I get to the Spencer Arms. But here we are at Duffy's Bar in Leicester, and we're going to go and have a pint of Guinness. It sounds lively in there already. Let's see how we get on. So Duffy's Bar now over. I can see the owner of Duffy's Bar over in the corner who knows me quite well, and I'm sort of sat in a position where she might spot me, so I don't want her to spot me videoing her Guinness. So here we are, look, in Duffy's Bar. Very, very over poured pint there. Lovely. Wonderful. The glass looks, I can't scrape the glass, but it looks clean and lovely. Let's launch it. Oh, look at that. Best stick of the day. I don't even have to talk about this in Duffy's. This is the best pint of Guinness in Leicester by far. Cheers everybody. So as we leave Duffy's Bar and head home. The sirens are blaring. Duffy's Bar were buzzing. They must have about 6 TV screens in there showing the rugby. Ireland was playing, so it was really buzzing in there. Absolutely fantastic. They had another Irish stout in there that I did fancy trying, but I just thought, no, I'm not going to sway my taste buds today. It's about the Guinness. So I'm heading off back to the Spencer Arms now, and I'm going to pour myself a pint of Guinness in my glass using the Nitro Surge can and the Nitro Surge cap, and see what my Guinness at the Spencer Arms is like. Catching a bit. Feeling a bit rough now. Feeling like I need to go to bed. Cheers. Hello everybody. So we never really made it back to the Spencer Arms. The actual Spencer Arms Guinness pint pour was right at the start. But I want to just say thank you for following this whole journey around Guinness and me going around Leicester finding a great pint of Guinness. I was pretty impressed with every single pint that I actually had in Leicester, to be quite frank. Even the Witherspoon's Guinness was fairly good, but they all taste a little bit different. But please, trust me, the best way to have a pint of Guinness is to find a place that serves it really clean and looks after the glasses, the lines, looks after the Guinness and everything else. So this has been one of those videos where you need your popcorn, and you do. And I'm down the Spencer Arms now editing this very video whilst having some craft beer, and it's and you know I'm fairly oiled. But yeah, I love this YouTube channel. I love the fact that you've watched this, and thank you so much for all the support. I can't wait to hit 1,000 subscribers. I really can't, just for the fact that like it's one of those epic milestones, isn't it? So yeah, anything to do with Guinness, please message me, because I will bring you the facts. Don't Google anything. Google will just give you facts based on people's input, really. But Guinness, you know, it's one of those beers that is like loved by many, hated by many. But the lovers of Guinness are very fussy, and I hope you've enjoyed this video showing how Guinness can be so destroyed so easily and so loved so easily. Anyway, right, I'm waffling on now. Thank you so much. This has been Speno from the Spencer Arms. I've got my lovely white t-shirt on here with the logo from AJ Higgins. I love it. And yeah, I'm going to chill out here for a bit longer, and I'll bring you another video soon. Thank you for watching this premiere exclusive super movie, and it needs to be shown in cinemas. Cheers.